What's going on, Solid Steppers? What's up, Tech the Titans 2.0? This is Miss Ward coming to you from Gainesville, Florida. Yes, sir. Gators. That's what we do. And I was just sitting here talking to one of my roundtable members. Like, share, and subscribe. As always, we dropping game. And we were discussing, I was talking to him about how people call me about how to get into appliance repair. And I have people young, old, middle age, all kind of stuff that call me. And what I always advise people to do is do your research. And when I say do your research, look at the company and the health of the company. A lot of people say, go to GE, Frigidaire, all these, and I'm not knocking any of them. You want to do GE, go holler at Bardwell, they got you. But what I tell people to do is to go work for Miele, Fisher Paykel, Fisher Scientific. Let me tell you something. All this stuff is basically the same, but if you can go in and get trained on high-end repairs, specifically, I'm telling you, if it was me, medical refrigeration all day. I would go to Fisher Scientific. They make a lot of the medical equipment you see. Also, you got to realize Miele, Sub-Zero, and Fisher Paykel, they have a whole commercial line. And not only do you want to go high-end, but you want to go high-end commercial. See, that's some next level stuff, because the beautiful part about doing that, you're going to be working in specific environments, because only a certain type of clientele is going to have those appliances, whether it be residential or commercial, number one. And you're going to be at a certain level when you're dealing with that clientele. You're going to have the same thing when dealing with fellow techs. At the end of the day, there is a luxury market in everything we do. You should be targeting that market from the beginning. I used to think you had to get in and learn the basics, and that's kind of what I did. And then I shifted into a lot of high-end stuff because I was looking at the clientele. I came out of an industry where I was accustomed to dealing with white glove customers and providing white glove service for that clientele. So I spoke their language, and I was already comfortable there. I didn't have to learn it. I didn't have to learn how to be in those rooms. But what I'm telling you is, as a technician, if you're going to come in here, come into a specialized section that you can eat for the rest of your life. Prime example, I was just talking to my roundtable member, and we were talking about the Miele equipment that's in some of these places. We were also talking about how there are certain airlines that have a specific dishwasher that they have on those planes. Like, y'all don't seem to understand. The riches is in the niches. Stop doing what everybody else doing. In fact, shut out the noise. Do the research and specialize and find out your highest demand areas. Because two things are going to happen. Number one, nobody's going there. They're not training to replace the people they have. A lot of them are behind the ball. They don't have the pipeline they should have started. Like, it's just a cluster. So the beautiful thing about chaos is that you can get in where you fit in the middle of the drama. I'm telling you, you gotta work smarter, not harder. And you gotta learn from other people's mistakes and issues. And people make them every day, so it ain't hard. Trust me. I'm rolling up in here so I can grab my parts that I got for jobs here in the area. But like I said, man, step into the game properly. And when I step into it properly, let's talk about it. Let's just break it down for one moment. Just one moment. So let's go. If you got a specific clientele, like prime example, when I first got in the game, I was always doing Miele coffee makers, and everybody was running away. Then I figured out how easy they were to work on and how there are only a few components that fail. And at the time, Miele was being real nice to people, and their tech support was on top of it. Like, they was giving you all the game. See, that's another thing. Let's talk about that too. A lot of people get in the game, and by the time they get into the game, a lot of things that we had access to in the past, those doors have been locked. And they've been locked for a reason. proprietary concerns, protecting the customer, protecting the brand. So if you don't already have relationships, you done. And if you ever look, like there are guys that I meet that work for Miele, they work for these different companies, and these are older guys who have been doing it for years, and it's just a job to them, which is fine. But you got to develop these relationships. But right now, in the day and age of AI, perfect time to get in, the day and age of computer controls, programming, cybersecurity, and above all else, shout out to my girl Tam, the Internet of Things and edge computing, you need to get in the game. Because if you can get in and merge those worlds, like there's a gentleman that I coach, and he spoke to me about for advice for a lot of things regarding appliance repair. So we were able to kind of get him focused, and he ended up being blessed enough to get hired by Meta. Not only did he get hired by Meta, he got relocated by Meta, and then when Meta did the downsizing, he went around and he hooked it up. They gave him several locations to pick for him. He decided to go to a specific location, which I will not share because if you know him, you'll know who I'm talking about. But the reality is I'm proud of him. And let me explain something to you. This dude is working at Meta making six figures, and he was able to take his background in refrigeration and appliance repair and get that job. So when I'm telling you your skills are transferable, they are. The thing I like about him is he's not stopping there. He's constantly leveling up in that arena and finding a place that works for him. Because one thing he learned that favor ain't fair and that the game gonna keep giving, you know? And that's why you got to surround yourself with people who, number one, are doing the work, number two, that believe in you and provide good counsel. See, a lot of y'all sitting here running the internet and you listening to the wrong stuff. You listening to, I ain't gonna get in your business, but it's subpar and it ain't making you no money. If you're listening to the internet and you're listening to things that are enhancing you, and I'm not saying you can't have some numb my mind stuff going on where you don't even want to think, it's been that week. I understand. Shoot, I'm feeling that way right now, but I'm making this damn video. The reality is I need you to understand to have a plan and have a process. If you're going to come in the industry and if you're going to be an employee, do not go work just for anybody, because what you're going to do is you're going to get stuck around them thugs and them hard legs who ain't going nowhere, that's mad about the company, but they ain't invested in themselves at all. It is not the company's responsibility to invest in you. If you have to go in as a self-starter, because right now everybody's trying to figure it out. See, if they was smart, they would team up with these high schools and these junior colleges and these tech schools and bankroll all that, because the reality is these companies have enough to do it. They have enough to revamp all those training programs and provide support. But at the end of the day, you got to understand how to play the game and get in. Because let me tell you something. It is a low barrier of entry for two reasons. One is because there are not a lot of technicians. But that's only going to be a short time. See, what people don't understand, they say we need 80,000 electricians by this year. We need 30,000 HVAC, all these statistics. But what people don't understand is people are looking at those statistics and they're taking care of their own communities. They're finding ways to get them visas over here to fill that void. See, the beautiful thing when you see a void always being pushed to the public, believe me, there's a private company that is developing a program, that's developing a pipeline to satisfy those needs and get paid not just by the private employer, the private company, or the companies like Samsung, Frigidaire, LG, all this other stuff. They also going to get paid by the United States government because, first of all, they are a business, which is what the United States government really is, and they are fulfilling a need that is a desperate need at this point in order for us to rebuild America the proper way. See, what people don't understand is that when you look at stuff, you're so busy saying somebody holding you back or there's an issue, I don't know. You don't know because you don't want to know. Get away from your people. Get away from where you live. You want something, go do something different. Miss Ward is telling y'all, the game is open. And I'm telling you, it's just like when I see people go work at Hobart. I'm like, why would you work at Hobart when you can work with the top company over at ITA? You got several different commercial divisions that belong to the same company that is the Hobart is in that umbrella. I'm not knocking Hobart because, if it was me, I go work for Hobart. I'm going on Norwegian. I'm going to be on the cruise ship repairing stuff. That's the life I'm going to live. I'm going to pick my job. And the reason I'm going to pick my job is because I'm going to have those conversations. If I got to start at the bottom of the totem pole, I'm going to see how I can navigate my ass over to that. Then I got to figure out if I want to be out to sea 2 to 3 weeks at a time. At the end of the day, each company got its game, but you got to decide. But you got other companies that are in the same umbrella that you can level up and go in the door. Like right now, people don't know that Sub-Zero has a lot of those medical refrigerators that's a negative 100 degrees for medications and organs and other things. Y'all out here playing. Find a niche and get your bag. And this is another thing I was just talking to him about. I said, man, this is what I don't understand. Why don't these people go get a job and work for these people that service the government and the institutions? Because I'm going to tell you, with Miss Ward, I'm not trying to go in nobody's house. If I'm doing commercial, I'm not trying to go in no restaurants. They can have that. I want to go into institutions, schools where I can go in, sign a clipboard, get in and get out. I ain't got to talk to nobody. I can go and focus on my damn job. And ain't nobody standing over me wondering what the hell I'm doing. Because they getting their own work done. That's who I am. I'm not trying to do that because I believe in focusing on the craft. Because the craft and the way you do the craft is a reflection of you as a person. Now, if you don't take pride in what you do, that's your ass. But me, I'm going to let it be known. I'm not only getting this paper, but I'm getting this game. And I'm not only getting the game, I'm perfecting the game. And I'm making it work for me. I suggest you do the same. So when you're looking for an opportunity in appliance repair, I'm telling you now, a lot of people won't like it, but have I ever cared whether they like it? I'm talking about you. You need to position yourself so you can go work with Mila, Fisher Paykel. A lot of people don't like Fisher Paykel. And the only reason I'm saying that is because Fisher Paykel has developed relationships with builders, apartment builders, home builders, and they're on that design side. Same thing with Gaggenau and people like that. Get in the game with these companies that are looking for technicians, and then look at their packages. Look at the 401k. Look at that breakdown. Look at the savings. Look at the profit sharing. Don't just go get a job. You need to be interviewing that job. You need to know everything about the history of that company before you walk into an interview. Because let me tell you something. These people, we're at a point in America where they don't give a damn whether you got the skills. At this point, they rather get the character, the attitude, and the intention. If that's right, they can work everything else. They can train you to do that. I'm telling you, because it's crazy out here how people take stuff for granted, but then want to complain they don't have no opportunities, but they can sit here and look at, what's that young man name? That one young thug talking about whoop-de-whoop. Well, whoop-de-whoop, or whatever he was saying about going to jail. That makes no sense to me, but that's the mentality, and that is what's promoted. Hey, that's not on my timeline. That's why I don't know what he's saying. You feel me? I heard about it. Because when I'm on my timeline and I'm swiping or whatever I'm doing or I'm studying, I'm downloading information I don't know to keep my brain sharp, to keep me on the edge, and so that I am already there. Like when people get there, I'm already there. And those are the conversations we had. I was just having a conversation with one of my roundtable members, and he was talking about how he was servicing a customer at the Ritz-Carlton, and he lives in the Ritz-Carlton. Now, I'm aware that Ritz-Carlton, a lot of these major hotels, they also have condos that they lease to people. And he's like, he's renting it. And I said, no, he's not renting it. His company is leasing that, and it's a write-off. See, that's how your mind has to work if you are moving at a certain level and really running a business. Everything, not only do you need to translate that into that terms, the easiest thing you could ever read in America, I'm telling you, is tax code. They wrote it for a third grader, literally. There are no complicated words in the dictionary. I'm trying to tell you. And at the end of the day, you want to get that bag. You want to keep the bag. You want to make the bag. And you want that bag to work harder than you. With that said, Ms. Ward signing off. I hope you got something out of it. Like, share, and subscribe. If you need some coaching or want to holler, it's in the description. Period.n. Solid steppers, keep stepping. And Tech the Titans, you know it. See you at the top. Let's go get it.